back to the No Hair All Heart podcast. I'm your host and author, Mookie Spitz, reading from Jonnie Fazoolie and the Transfinite Reality Engine. We are on section 21. That should correspond with page 137 from the first edition paperback. I've been getting a few questions regarding the pacing and the distribution of these audio mini book readings. So just to level set, again, I have taken over the No Hair All Heart podcast show with a daily reading from my book. I am doing this for fun. I'm doing this to get the book out there, making it available for anyone who cares to listen, follow along. And I'm doing it because it's just such a blast to actually read this thing out loud and let it loose. Now, the questions I've been getting have a lot to do with what the hell is going on here? Because I know these podcasts fly around the internets, and you might come across one of these, give it a listen, and obviously I'm cutting right into a broader narrative with zero context. Now, I gave this some thought when I started this series, figuring one course I could take would be to summarize where the story's been, then get into that section, and then lead off with where it's headed. But then I figured that might be tedious for folks actually giving these a sequential listen. And I also wasn't quite sure about the length. I tried to keep all of these around 15, 20 minutes max. And I know myself. Once I start talking, I can't stop. So the ground state that has been attained here is for me to just cut into the book. I've tried to orient the listener with the page, at least of the first edition that's out there now of the paperback. If you're reading on Kindle, then obviously you can adjust the fonts, play around with the layout, and then who knows where I am. The episodes, though, are identified by name. Today's being the 21st reading, called Guest Appearance. So I am at least consistent in the nomenclature for the pods themselves. So specifically, this one is Guest Appearance, reading from hashtag JFTRE21. Now, I know that sounds cryptic, but Guest Appearance is the name of the section. JFTRE is Jonnie Fazoolie and the Transfinite Reality Engine, and the number is sequentially me ripping through the whole book. To me, it's intuitive. It might come across as loopy, but there you have it. If you've got a better idea how I can do this, I am all ears. And it's not exactly like I've got a Joe Rogan or a Mark Maron fan club at this point. So the feedback has been what I consider flattering silence, with, again, a few of you wondering WTF. And this little intro is for you WTF folks in terms of giving that context. So once again, provide feedback. There's a little link in the description at the very bottom where you could send me a message, and it pops up in the distribution app I use for all my podcasts, Buzzsprout. And I'll see it, and I'll be happy to respond to it. For the time being, though, here we go. Cutting into the story right after, and I'm giving a little context here, Jonnie's ex-wife, Julie Fazoolie, gave him a random call to which he turns and faces the music of the shenanigans in the Cosmology and String Theory Conference. Here we go. Guest appearance. By the time he gets into the lobby fray, several Mexican cops employ generous swings of their batons to clear a path for the emergency services team, who wheel a stretcher into the hall. Ducking to the side, Jonnie doesn't have long to wait to find Basine, who, much to his shock, is sprawled on the same stretcher that just got rolled inside. She appears comatose. Jonnie uses his unnatural height and superior angular momentum to do an end run to Basine, who's surrounded by cops and EMS pros. Always working it, he waves and shouts, "Mi novio!" "Novia," corrects the cop, lewdly gesturing. "Pinche maricon." "Baby!" shouts Jonnie, walking frantically alongside the moving stretcher and out the hotel lobby doors to a waiting ambulance. Police and press are swarming. A tedious event, now interesting. Apartate! Before Basine is elevated onto the ambulance van bed, Jonnie notes her open eyes staring blankly above. Whatever happened to her has totally knocked her out, as though she's left her body. Not one for chivalry, redefining the word by embodying its diametric opposite, Jonnie touches her face gently, leans in his lanky body, and kisses her delicately and lovingly on the lips. Far from any fairy tale, at least traditional ones, sleeping Basine doesn't wake up, instead lying inert, staring emptily into the sky. Prince Fazoolie, forever a frog, feels the empty shell of her body. A shudder of deja vu nearly overwhelms him, too. Jonnie hurled back into his childhood to relive the trauma of his mother in crisis. He was helpless and unable to help then as now. She had several nervous breakdowns, some of them in public, all of them making Jonnie feel she was losing it because of him. She was then taken away, institutionalized for a week, a month. The only world Jonnie knew and therefore considered normal and inevitable consisted of a smothering zombie mother and a raging drill instructor father, a house of silence and screams. He just met Basine and has nothing to do with whatever happened to her, but feels, like he did with his mother many, many years ago, responsible for her distressing catatonic state. Vulnerable, helpless women hurl Jonnie back to his childhood. The difference is now he's ostensibly an adult and has volition, if not more control, at least of his own behaviors and actions. Being in a position of accountability is not Jonnie's preferred state. Instead, he creates chaotic conditions to preclude having any responsibility, therefore forcing his hand and everyone else's. "I'll see you in the other universe," he gestures, holding her cold, lifeless hand. "We'll have our date. I know you don't believe me, nobody ever does, but I'll come and get you." The sirens blare and the ambulance speeds off, Fazoolie feeling the walls closing in again. No lover, no money, and now not even Basine. But he vows to build an impossible device to save her. Returning to the lobby, the crowd is cleared enough for Jonnie to peek through the opened panel doors. Inside, he sees more tumult and a giant computer screen playing odd animation. Oscillating multicolored lights have turned the once droll conference room and attendees into a surreal rave. Fazoolie has seen some freaky things in his life. This, some of the freakiest. A mesmerizing melody, akin to a child's lullaby, pitch shifted with deep delay and quivering tremolo, reverberates throughout the conference, an eerie siren song awaiting a defiant reply. The pixelated image of a preteen girl in an old style dress and apron forms. Colors of each tiny element are intense and create a kaleidoscopic effect. Jonnie stands at the back, enthralled. The preteen girl's image consists of recursive cellular automata triangles, morphing and evolving as she speaks, her face staring right at Jonnie. She slowly recites what sounds like a riddle. I'm the place you cannot leave, a friend who follows you all day, says the lifelike animation, her voice amplified through speakers across the room. Wherever you go, I never depart. Beside her appear self-referential silhouettes of spiders, cats, dinosaurs, and bugs, amid a roiling backdrop where a spinning lighthouse and a pulsing star flash stroboscopic bursts of light. Yet if you try to grasp me, she continues, curtsying as she completes the riddle, smiling, drawing him in with a powerful and maddening hypnotic gaze. I slip away. What am I? You are here, Jonnie Fazoolie says out loud, grasping a chair, gasping for air, not a thought in his big blonde head, the words pouring out of his stricken face as if spoken by someone else. The animation smiles and vanishes as if the plug were pulled. The tech team scrambles to fire it up again. Did you get that last cycle? Shouts Fulcrum. Capture every iteration. The lecture was designed to demo the next generation of emergent cellular automata capable of mimicking natural processes. The end result was more like a theme park hologram. The press is divided between those thinking they just saw a technological miracle and those calling bullshit. The hot, leather clad woman convulsing and passing out added a twist. Even outliers are intrigued. Eric Weinstein on Joe Rogan next week marveling how Steven's supercharged simulator got hacked. Conspiracy! Or did he actually generate a Boltzmann? Whatever Fulcrum created has freaked even Steven out. Maybe his behemoth demo ran amok, or Eric is right and foul play was indeed involved. Yet instead of a Guy Fawkes mask, they got, what the fuck is up with this Alice in Wonderland shit? Asks an accelerator tech from CERN, digging on US slang, but doing so with an hysterical Swiss accent. Was zum Fix? She likes you, an Italian neutrino researcher informs Fazoolie as the dreamlike weirdness of the whole scene gets even weirder, the room feeling crowded and empty at the same time. You think? Nods Jonnie, eager to get out of there, turning to leave, only to whoops, fall flat on his smug and annoying face. Happening so fast, even his meth withdrawal is caught off guard. Thanks again for listening. Never a dull moment in Fazoolie Land. I'll be returning tomorrow for more readings. And as I mentioned at the beginning, let me know how you feel about these readings. Are they the right length for you? Is there redundancy with the open and close? Should I provide more context? What happened just before? Where the story's leading? I'm tempted to annotate these things every day so you get the author's analysis of the section, but I just think that's going to mess things up. And if you do pop these as kind of a daily tablet of Fazoolie, or if you're binge streaming these and curious what's going on, I just think my extra bloviation is going to get in your way. But again, the customer is always right. And the listener is the one whom the bloviator should be listening to. So I'm all ears. I am having fun. And I am here to entertain you. So I know it's a passive experience, but if you feel like reaching out, let me know what you think. I'm happy to tweak them. We are now on about page 140 with a little under 300 more pages to go. So plenty of room to flex here. But I am committed to a section every day. And a reminder, I'm also tweeting the book backwards. Spoiler alert, at Jonnie Fazoolie, JonnieFazoole, on X. Monday through Saturday, 24/7. One of these 3-line paragraphs with dialogue every hour on the hour, with a rest on Sunday, the Lord's Day, where, guess what? I tweet links to all of these voice readings that go from the reverse direction, the reverse direction. So from the beginning of the book to the end. Never a dull moment for me or you either. Thanks again. Like, comment, share. Back tomorrow.